Welcome back to Greyhack. In this episode, we will be looking at the FTP system. In a previous video, I talked about explaining how it works and that it's a bit more special than the other servers, but I have not shown it up until now. And so I think it's fitting that we finally take a look at the, final system or service that you can hack on servers, which is, of course, the FTP services. So what I think we will do is we will use a mission that I found, which is perfect for this. It's a bit more, shall we say, tricky. It's a bit more of an advanced hack, which requires us to hack onto another server to gain access to the LAN network, and then from there hack the FTP server. So let's see here. We'll start off by opening a admin monitor, because that will be handy. We don't want to get caught. Then we will, let's see here. I should probably show this. So now that we have custom scripting in the game, I made some custom scripts, and I will be using some of them in my videos. But if you don't know how to script, or you don't have similar scripts, I will also try to, if I remember, show you how you can do it without scripting. Because most of the things that I will be doing are things that you can do without having custom scripts. The custom scripts will just be more convenient, make the hacking a little bit faster. So one of the scripts that I will be using is a custom nmap command that I've made. This is the mission. It's a usual mission credentials needed mission. This is the LAN public IP, and this is the LAN IP, and then we need to find the user credentials for this user. So to start off, we use the LAN command, which is similar to nmap, and that shows us all the computers and their LAN IPs on a network. So as you can see, there are 9 computers on this system, which is quite a lot. And then you can see which of them have open services and what those services are. So there are HTTP servers, SSH servers, FTP servers, all kinds of things running on here. And our target is the computer on 0.7. So this is our computer, or our target computer. And I think this gives a better overview of how the networks work for those of you who are confused. I know some of you are. So you first need to log into the public IP, and then when you are on the LAN network, you can access all of these computers. And the target for this hack will be this computer over here. I already went on this server and checked it out, which is probably not good, because now there is a FTP port open, and there were no FTP port open previously. I opened that. So that is one of the ways that you can gain access. But let's just pretend that I had not opened this and that there were no FTP shown on the nmap. That would mean that we would have to hack in via something else to gain access to the FTP server. And that's what we are going to do. So the SSH server is the only one we can access, because I checked the tool versions and there are no 3.0 tools for HTTP, or no shell web. but there is a SSH guest. There is no SSH nuke. The only thing that managed to get us in here is a 3.8 SSH guest. So it was quite lucky to get that. Now we will be using the proxy network, of course, to try to keep our IP a little bit safe. And yeah, let's see here. So we will have a file explorer open just in case. And I already downloaded the tools onto here, but I'll show you how we did that. So you open a browser on the proxy server that you want to use. When hacking FTP servers, I would actually recommend you use proxy servers, and I'll explain later. So on the proxy server you want to use, or if you're using a home computer, then you just open your normal browser. But if you use a proxy server, you need to open this browser. There are other ways of doing this, but this is how I did it. And then you go to the shop, and then you download the tools, and the tools will then be put on the proxy server rather than your home system. If you already have these tools you want to use on your home system and don't want to buy new ones, you could transfer the files either by drag and drop in the file explorer or with the scp command. But remember that you might need privileges depending on the write privileges on the folders that you try to transfer the files to. So you might need to be root. Just to make sure, if you are root on the on both systems, you should probably be fine. But one thing to keep in mind is that even if you are root in the terminal on your home computer and you open, oh sorry, not that one, and you open the file explorer like this from the desktop, this file explorer does not have root privileges. But if we do open a terminal, and as I said, gain root privileges like this, and then open a file explorer, this file explorer will have root privileges. Therefore, you will be able to transfer files from this file explorer to any other file explorer that also has root privileges. Since we connected to a root to a SSH server with a root account, this terminal also have root privileges, and therefore this terminal that we or a file explorer that we open also has root privileges. Therefore, if we want to transfer files between these two file explorers, there would be no permission denied problems that might occur otherwise. Okay, with that out of the way, we continue with the plan, and the plan is, of course, to let's see here. I think we have everything we need. You know how to get the tools here. The tools that we will be using are SSH guest and FTP nuke. And the reason for that is that the FTP nuke changes the root password of a FTP server, and that's how we will gain access to the to this computer right here with the FTP server. And the SSH guest gains guest access on a SSH server, and that's how we will gain access to this SSH server. And again, pretending that I had not opened this FTP server, so that's not there. The only way in is either the HTTP or the SSH server from the public IP. So we use the SSH guest on the IP that we want to hack, like this. And thankfully, there are no admins online, which I checked with PS. Then we quickly go into the root, logs, and delete our shell obtained log and nothing else. Then from here, I will go into the browser and show you what I did. So 192.168.0.1. This is the browser, and this is the port forwarding I added. I will remove this just to show how this would have looked if I hadn't done that, like the mission was from the beginning. As you can see now, there is no port forwarding, therefore there is no way to access the FTP from the outside. But since we are sneaky, we add our own port forward like this. The FTP port is port 21. And then we add the LAN IP that we want to connect to, .7, which we could see in the email somewhere. Where did the email go? Did I close it? There it is. Right here, 192.168.0.7. And we save that. And then again, when we do the nmap, we can see that the FTP server is now open and hackable. So next up, we will, let's see here. We will, since we now have root access on both the file explorer on the hacked server and the file explorer on the other server that we are connecting from, the proxy server, we can just drag and drop the FTP nuke, maybe not here though. Permission denied. I thought it's, no, wait, we don't have root privileges. We will soon though. So if we go into the password file, we can get the root password, and then we will get root privileges, of course. So that's the root password, and you can just use the decipher tool on that, like normal. But since I don't want to waste the time, I will be using the hash command that I have also made, and then we get the password. And then we just sudo, and now we have root privileges. So let's close this file explorer with guest privileges and open another file explorer with root privileges. Now, I think that's actually a bug, by the way. Usually what you think should happen is for the file explorers to change their privileges when you upgrade the privilege on the server. But for the moment, it stays with the file explorer, so we will have to close and open it again if we change our permissions. So now that let's check again if there are any admins online. Now that we have root privileges, we can, as I said before, both these file explorers have root privileges. We can get the FTP nuke onto the server like this. Now this would not be necessary, and the reason I'm showing this is because I want to show you both ways of doing this. So the first way is to open a port forward for the port and computer you want to hack, and then just go back out and hack in via this opened port forwarded port. But you might not want to do it that way, or I don't know, there might be a reason you can't. So the other way of doing it is to upload the tool onto the LAN IP, the SSH server, and then let's see here, this is probably the best way of showing it. So you hack into this computer, which has a port forwarded SSH, and then when you are on this LAN system, you can hack from this computer to this computer without this computer being connected to the public IP via port forward. So that's the method I will be showing first. And what we will do is we will use the FTP nuke. Nope. Let's see here. Need to be in the correct folder to find the program. FTP nuke. Let's just run it to see how it works. And then we will use that on the LAN IP. Since we are already on the public IP, and that's not the IP we want to use because we're already on this IP, we want to select the LAN IP that we want to hack. So we do that, and then we select root password equals to a new funny password. So let's make the root password funny. And as you can see, it worked, system open. Now the root password on this computer has been changed to funny. What we can do now is, before we do anything else, we are done with the FTP nuke, so we can just remove the FTP nuke like this. And when we remove something on a server, there will always be a file deleted log made. And so we have to remove that so we don't get caught. Okay, let's see here. Looks fine still, no admins online. Now we want to use the FTP command, which are by default on every server. And that is used like this. You don't need to remember these because you can just type the command and it will show you. FTP root is the user, right? Because we changed the root password. And funny, because that's the password we changed it to. And then we select the IP that we wanted to gain access to. And there we go. Now we have hacked onto the FTP server on this network. And we can't even use PS because on FTP servers, all your commands are limited. So we can use the help command. This is the only place kind of this works. And we will see which commands are available. So we can use cd, we can use rm, ls, clear, exit, make clear, pwd, help, put, and get. And what we wanted to do here was to get the user credentials for this user. And the user credentials are located in etc, because that's where all the passwords are stored. You might already know this. So in this file, the passwd file, all the passwords are stored. And we need to open this. Now we can't open things on FTP servers. As you can see, these are the only commands available to us. So what we will do instead is we will download the password file. Now, if I were to download it from here, we would be putting it on the computer we are connecting from, which is the SSH computer. This is fine. You can do it like this, but you would leave more traces on the SSH server that you have to remove, etc. So I will stop this method here. This is how you would do it. You would download it, put it on the SSH server, and then figure out the password from there. But to make it a bit more convenient, I will also show you the other way of doing it. And that involves going out from this server. And now we are on the SSH server again. Then I think we will need to open the system log one more time and get rid of this. This is a routed log, which is also bad news. Because we connected via this computer to another computer, that log is created, so we have to remove that. And then we will exit this computer as well. Now we are back on our proxy server. And hopefully the nmap, the FTP server is still port forwarded. So when we port forwarded the server, that made us able to connect to the indicated, let's just make another on. That makes us able to connect to the indicated LAN IP directly from the public IP. So as you can see, when we use the nmap, it shows us a FTP server, and you wonder, okay, which of these three FTP server is it? Well, it's the one I port forwarded, which was the 0.7 in the browser configuration or router configuration. So what we will do is we will use the FTP command from our proxy instead. Get root. Funny, and there are a few advantages to this that that will become apparent. Let's see if we still have this IP. Yes. Now we are on the FTP system again, but this time we are connected via our proxy instead of the MPC SSH. And a few advantages are that we don't have to be on two MPC systems at once. If the routers log on, the admins log on, we can clear our tracks faster. We don't have to clear our tracks on two servers. We can just clear our tracks on one. So there are a few advantages like that. But beyond that, when we again go into the etc folder and look at the password file, we can, and as I said, how you get this is you download it, and you download on FTP servers with the get command. We get the password file, and here we go. Now it's on our SSH server or our proxy server. Let's not confuse the two. I'll keep on calling this one the proxy server. And now we can get the password for the indicated target, which was this dude right here. So let's see if hash will help us this time as well. If I can just copy the text, that is. Action. There we go. So that is the solution for the FTP mission. But we're not done yet because we are on a FTP server and we have not cleared our logs at all. So what we will have to do after we have gotten the password is we will have to go into the var folder, which has the log file. And in the log file, we have to edit this log file. And again, we can't do that with the commands on the FTP server. So we will again download with get the log file. It takes a little while. There we go. And now we can edit it. So we have two shell obtained, one from the SSH connection that I showed you, but then exited out of, and one from the connection we are currently in. Now we delete these two, and then we just put the, which is upload. Put is upload, get is download. We put the system.log, and that replaces the system.log that we edited with the system.log on the system. I would recommend that you are root on the proxy server when you do this, so that you know which folder everything will be downloaded into. If you have somehow managed to change your user account and the files get downloaded somewhere else, or if you are it will be much trickier to find the correct system file and where it gets downloaded to on your system. So the simplest thing would be to be a root and be in the root main folder when you connect to the system. Therefore, the system is going to go, target system is going to be connected to the root folder, and then everything that happens will be between these folders or in this folder, and it will be easier for you to keep track of. So now that we have edited the log file, there are no traces on this system, and we can now safely exit the FTP system. So again, the difficult part with FTP system is that you can't run anything. You can't run programs, you can't run most commands, you can't even edit files. And when you log on to a FTP server, you will have to download the system log, edit it on your computer, and then upload it again. That's pretty much the summary of what is tricky about it. Now we're back on our proxy server, and we are about to wrap up. If you manage to mess up somehow, the system log did not get replaced, you did not edit it correctly, so something is messed up. There is one extra precaution that you can do, and that is to go into your own system log on the proxy server and remove the routed and some extra as well logs that you made, because those are the logs that the admins will use to track you. So let's say that you made some mistake and they tried to track you. If you use a proxy server, you can remove the routed logs from your proxy server, and that way the admins won't be able to track you beyond the proxy server. And since we have an entire proxy chain, if they manage to get past the first, when we remove the logs on their system, they won't be able to find any logs on the proxy system we have here. We could use exit one more time if we're crazy about security and go into our system log on the next proxy in the chain and remove some of the connection routed logs there as well. Now we are super mega safe, right? Unless we made some other mistake, of course. I think this is pretty much it, and that covers how the FTP systems work together with, so I made it extra complex for you, together with how the LAN hacking works. So if you can't access a LAN computer from the public IP, then you will have to hack onto another LAN computer, either edit the port forwarding or hack the LAN computer from another LAN computer. And then, of course, the FTP servers are a bit tricky because you are very limited in what you can do on them. And mostly what you will do is just download files, grab the information you need, or edit it and upload it again. Let's see if the mission was well done correctly. It's going to be interesting. Let's see if we failed somehow. So action, send, and the customer is satisfied with our job. So that's how you do a credentials needed on a FTP system. And yeah, I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.